This is plastic. It's ugly. It looks like a rejected prop from a futuristic toothbrush commercial. Let's give this little sound nugget a home that actually appreciates it. Introducing the all-new, first of its kind, vintage pill speaker case, TM. You put your speaker in the back of it for not just a beautiful sound, but a beautiful look. This Bluetooth speaker upgrade is so classy. Your grandpa's record player called and said, nice job. So I know you want digital sound with an analog soul. This is how you do it. Free plans in the description below, so check it out. Now I'm gonna take this ridiculous wig off and we're gonna go in the shop and I'm gonna show you how to build this thing. So, let's go. So for this cool little build today, I'm gonna be using some walnut and some maple. I specifically chose this piece of walnut because of the grain pattern. And when I went to the sawmill, I saw it and I thought that would be perfect for this speaker case. So, step one, I'm gonna cut everything down into manageable sizes before I start to mill up the walls, top and bottom for this case. This box I'm making is going to be 5 inches tall, 5 inches deep, and 10 inches long. If you have a specific speaker you wanna build this for, measure your speaker and then just make sure that the inside box dimensions are gonna fit that speaker. Otherwise, the dimensions that I chose and the way I'm building it in this video, I have found to fit most standard size pillow speakers. My family members and I had a few laying around the house, so we checked the sizes and they all fit beautifully. Now, I say this next part in almost all of my videos, but if you do not have access to a joiner, a planer, a thicknesser, or anything that you need to mill down lumber, you definitely do not need those things for this build. I like to get all my wood rough cut at a local sawmill, and I invested in some used tools for my shop so that I could mill my own lumber. This is gonna be a huge money saver for me in the long run, but you absolutely can just go to the store, get pre-surfaced wood in the thickness that you want, already milled up, straight, ready to go, and you can get right to building. So after milling all the wood down to 5/8 of an inch thick, I did want to do some grain wrapping on at least 3 of the sides of the box. So I just took that into consideration when I was making the cuts on the miter saw here. Basically just planning out each panel so that it would go short, long, short, long. Be sure to measure for the next cut after the previous cut. Don't pre-measure all of them at once. You do have to take the blade width into account when you're cutting. The kerf on my blade is 1/8 of an inch, so after 4 cuts, that's 1/2 inch of wood, which would make all my panels way off. So measure each one and cut each one individually. Once I got them all cut, I took them back over to the workbench, marked the sides that needed to line up together, and then also chose the prettiest piece to go on top and made sure that the grain wrap ended on a bottom corner so you couldn't tell that those didn't match up. Now, a little trick that I've had a lot of luck with on the table saw is using this Klein digital angle gauge, getting it zeroed on the table, putting it on the blade, and then getting it set to 44.8 or 0.9 degrees. This is so that if the angle is just slightly off, it'll push the gap towards the back inside of the box and not the outside where the seams meet. We really want this to be as seamless as possible, especially for when we go back and round it over after the glue up. So after getting the table saw all set up and ready to go, I pulled out this tenoning jig that I made. I'll add some plans in the description below if you want to check those out too for this jig. And this is what I'm going to use to cut the bevels on all of the ends of the boards. I always like to use a scrap piece of wood before I make the cuts on the actual pieces I'm using, just to make sure everything's working the way I want it to. This cut's pretty important here, so I unplug my table saw and with my hand just make sure that that outside tooth is lined up right on the edge of the board. I'd rather take too little off at first and then just slowly move my fence over so I'm hitting that edge perfectly. And then as soon as I get that where I need it to go, I can continue with the rest of my cuts for all the other bevels. There's a lot of great ways you can cut bevels on a table saw, so if you have a better way or you have a better jig than this, then by all means, go for it. I've been using this method a lot lately, and I don't feel like building another jig or spending money on buying one, so doing it this way has worked really well for me. Have you guys ever started a project and it's just going super well, everything's smooth, you know where all your tools are, you're not dropping stuff, things are just lining up well? Well, that was this project until this moment right here. So now it was time to cut the bevel on the long sides of the boards, and I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here, but I'm cutting it on the wrong side. I should have flipped the board over. I marked the wrong side of the board. I didn't even know it until after I cut it and then looked at it and realized, shoot, I cut it on the wrong side. Came over, tested it out, and I can confirm it was the wrong side. But my son came out and looked at it and said, well, Dad, just cut the rest of them all like that and make that the back of the box. It would look good that way. So I said, son, you're probably right. So we went for it and we just cut them all like that. And I gotta say, he was right. It turned out really good and honestly better than my original plan of just having it flat on the back. Adding this little bevel to all 4 pieces actually looked pretty good in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. But now there was definitely no room for error, so I took the tape off the other side, put it on the right side of the board, so I knew the tape must be facing up when cutting all of the rest of the bevels. So flipping all the boards over, I went through, cut all the bevels right along the edge, again walking that fence up till I got it perfectly lined up. Cut all 4 pieces like that, got some tape, taped them up to see how they'd fit, and would you look at that, I love it when a plan comes together. Every time, it's the best. I've got to give credit to my boy for this one. He was there to tell me, I told you it would look good, Dad. And I said, yes, you were right, son. All right, so moving on here. Before I glue this up, I do want to cut the front piece. And you guys might be thinking to yourselves, well, Jordan, why didn't you just, make that initial board longer when you milled it up and then just cut the front piece out of that? And to that, I say that is an excellent point and a good idea. However, there was a specific section, I guess you could say, on this walnut board that was really unique and had a really cool grain pattern, and I wanted to use that for the front of the box, so I had to mill it up separately. So I thought, let's just go ahead and make the full frame of the box first, make sure that I get the dimensions how I like it, exactly at 5 inches. Then I can check that measurement before I make the front piece, just to make sure everything lines up and it's as seamless as possible. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, this next step took me a long time to try to get all of the speaker holes spaced out evenly, correctly, and then most importantly in a design pattern that I liked and thought looked good. Redid this quite a few times till I found something that wasn't terribly ugly. I'm very happy with how it turned out, but to save you guys hours, I included a template free inside of the free plans in the description of this box build. So you can save a lot of the hair on your head and hours that it took me scribbling on this board and erasing and writing and erasing and writing and back and forth, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so moving on here, using some double-sided tape as you saw on a scrap piece of plywood, clamped to the workbench. This worked amazing for using this plunge-based router that has a guide on it that I love to use whenever I need to make patterns on the inside of a board like this. The clamps get in the way though if you clamp these small pieces of wood, so using double-sided tape in this situation is a real lifesaver. Highly recommend it. Using a 1/2 inch spiral upcut bit, just using that depth stop and the guides I drew on the board, I just worked my way on the front speaker panel and then also did the same thing on the 2 side speaker panels. Again, templates for all 3 of these panels are in the free plans. Using a plunge-based router like this is actually a lot easier than you may think. What I like to do is to drill all the way through the board on both sides first. And then, depending on which side of the router you're on, you want the direction of the bit to be pulling the guide into the board, not pushing it away, then you're fighting it the whole time. So figure out which direction you need to either pull or push the router, and then just make 1/8 inch passes all the way until you're completely through the board. I think if I was to do this again, I would not cut the bevels on the side panels before using the plunge-based router to get those speaker holes in it. It made it a lot easier to stick it to the table and use the guide without the beveled edges. So if you guys are building this, I'd recommend using the router before cutting the bevels on the side speaker panels. And with a little assistance from some blue tape, it was now time to check the fit, and it fit perfectly. For some reason, some days the table saw is just on point. All the angles were lining up. I was super happy. It was time to get to the glue up though. So pretty self-explanatory here. We're just gonna add glue to all the inner bevels. I used a pretty good amount of glue. I wanted there to be some good squeeze out so there was no gaps in the middle. And then I used this box clamp or strap clamp. It's not necessary, but it helped a lot. Highly recommend it if you guys can pick one up. They're only 20 to 30 bucks. Also, drinking lemonade poured by your loving wife during glue ups increases the strength of the glue up by 50%. So I just wanted to share that quick tip with you. To make it easier on me later, I'm taking a damp rag and wiping up all the squeeze out on the inside of the case. Now, you're not going to see inside, especially since we're going to add some of that grill mesh to it. However, To get a nice fit with the grill mesh later on, having a nice clean edge is going to be very helpful. Going to do the same thing for the front speaker panel. I was pretty picky with how I wanted the grain to look on the front, so I made sure the right side was facing up and down and all that stuff. And then to keep it in place, using some more clamps to hold it down in place. I did tighten these a little bit too much, so if you guys are using clamps on the face of this, I would recommend just putting enough pressure on it to hold it there, get a little bit of squeeze out. But I ended up creating a couple seams along the edges because I over tightened the clamps. So just something to be aware of. Once everything was dry, pulled off all the clamps, inspected the seams, and then took 120 grit sandpaper on my random orbital sander and went over all the faces of this case. Once the sanding was done, I took a trim router with a 1/4 inch round over bit and went over all the edges of the box. Front, sides, I did not do any on the back. A little trick I learned actually from Cam over at Blacktail Studio is to adjust the router bit depth a little bit past where it should sit, so you get that little line along the box you can see on the video here. And basically, that allows me to come back over with a sander and still maintain that true 1/4 inch round over without squaring up the edges, because I'm sanding again after I already used the round over bit. So after hand sanding the speaker grooves, since I couldn't fit a round over bit inside of those, I went over everything again with 120 grit sandpaper. And you can see a few seams showed up after I used the round over bit. So I'm just using some walnut colored wood filler. Gonna fill in any seams or any gaps, holes around the entire box at this point and let it dry. And while I'm waiting for the wood filler to dry, I'm gonna go over to the bandsaw and start cutting these 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch leg pieces for the speaker case. If you don't have a bandsaw, no worries. You can use your table saw or miter saw. Just gonna sand these by hand, adding a chamfer to all the edges that are gonna face down. And before I glue these on, I'm gonna go over the entire case yet again with 120 grit sandpaper. Now that the wood filler has dried, just gonna make sure that all the edges are rounded over. The wood filler blends in, everything's looking nice and crispy. And then we're gonna get to wiping it down. I'm using this denatured alcohol to get rid of any excess oil or sawdust. Now I'm gonna come back to the legs before applying finish. And I'm gonna space the legs. I'm gonna bring them in about 1 1/4 inch from the edges of the box on all sides. This is personal preference. Honestly, I just wanted it to look like the case was floating. So setting them in deep enough to where you can just barely see them if you're looking at it straight on is kind of what I was going for. To hold the legs in place while the wood glue is drying, I'm just using some CA glue with some activator spray. Just using a little bit here is all I needed. All right, so now it was time to add some finish and make this thing look pretty. The grain pattern on this walnut piece, like I said earlier, was so cool. Normally I'm not this excited to get finish on something, but I was pretty excited to put it on this one, and it did not disappoint. So for this build, I'm using Rubio Monocoat Pure, and I found this to be really beautiful, especially when applied to a walnut like this. So after doing a couple coats with that and letting it dry enough to where I could start working with the speaker grill mesh, which, by the way, I put a link to this in the description below, as well as a link to it inside of the material list in the free plans in the description below. So if you guys want to get some for yourself, you now know where to find it. I started out by just cutting off little squares for the side panels and using some CA glue and activator spray just to attach it right to the inside. I wasn't too happy. I know that people aren't going to be looking inside of this very much, but I came this far. I wanted to make the rest of it look, you know, as beautiful as I could. So instead of doing that for the front speaker panel, I decided to make, out of some scrap wood, a little frame, as you can see here, just using some, again, CA glue and activator spray to attach all the pieces together. This stuff is awesome. It's also not very expensive, so highly recommend picking some up. And then I just stretched a piece of this grill cloth over the frame and then inserted it inside of the case, and it turned out great. I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'll probably do this for all 3 sides of the speaker cloth next time. But here you go. Final product, speaker inside of it. Now you may be asking yourself right now, well, Jordan, how does it sound when you put a speaker inside of this? Does it muffle it? Does it, you know, suppress the sound at all? And I will say I'm probably more picky than most when it comes to how my speakers sound. Being in film and sound design for years before this, I would say that I have a somewhat trained ear for this. After testing it myself and letting a lot of other people hear it, It sounds fantastic. You will not be disappointed with this, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the build video today. Be sure, if you don't want to miss other free plans I put out on this channel, to subscribe, like, share. It really helps the channel out. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll like this video right over here. So while you guys are watching that, I'm gonna go ahead and jam out just a little bit here. So catch you guys in the next video. Oh, this is kind of growing on me. I think I might do this in another video.